All right, hello. How we all doing? We are doing the function rule flashcard assignment today, and our learning target today is I can determine the function family by looking at the function rule. All right. So what we're trying to do for each one of these, I'm going to give you a function rule, and the function rule will look something like that. That's a function rule, or an equation like that. All right. You're going to look at these and be able to tell me at the end of this which function family these belong to. Right? There's basically four basic rules to determine each one. We're going to label each function rule with the function family name. The first four are already done for you. So let's look at the first four. That is a linear. How do I know that's a linear? That I know that this is a linear function because I see y is equal to a number times x, and then it can be plus or minus something. It doesn't matter. A number times x. But wait a minute, you're saying, Mister, there's no number in front of that x. Well, yeah, there's nothing that we know. There's nothing right there right now. But really, if any number times one is itself, so whatever number x is, one times x is just going to be x. So really, there's kind of a coefficient in front of here. But oftentimes, when the coefficient is one, this little, the number out in front that we're multiplying by is the coefficient. When the number is one, sometimes we just leave it off because it doesn't change anything. Since it doesn't make a difference, we just leave the number off. So even though this says y equals x, it looks like it's all by itself. Really, this is y equals 1x, which tells me this is a linear function. Really, this is plus 0, really, because plus or minus 0 doesn't change anything. So, sometimes we just leave it off. So sometimes we leave things off because they're not necessary. But this is a linear function. Whenever it's y equals a number times x plus or minus another number, that's a linear function. All right. That's how we know when we get a linear function. Let's go to the next one. Quadratic. Quadratic. Y equals x squared, or y equals x to the second power. This is what quadratic functions look like. There is an x, a variable, which is squared. If you see a variable which is squared, that's going to be quadratic. Quadratic. Y equals x squared. Now, sometimes it might be, 4x squared. And that's still quadratic. Sometimes it might be, plus 10, or maybe minus 5. It doesn't matter. Still quadratic. This x to the second power, that means quadratic. No matter what else is in there, x squared is quadratic. Exponential. This is an exponential function rule. Y equals 2 to the x power. Now notice how these are flipped. This is y equals quadratic is y equals x to the second power. Exponential is y equals a number to the x power. X here is the exponent. That's why it's an exponential function, right? Exponent, x is the exponent, so it's an exponential function. Now, again, these sometimes look a little different. They might be like plus 10. They might be, oftentimes we'll have a number out here. It'll be 4 times 2 to the x power plus or minus a number. All that doesn't change anything. This x as an exponent tells me I'm dealing with an exponential function. So don't mind the nonsense. What the exponential function family, when you have a number raised to the x power, when the x is the exponent in the function rule. Absolute value. Absolute value is probably the easiest one to figure out because whenever x is here in these little bars, these little bars mean the absolute value of x. Sometimes it can be, minus 7, or maybe sometimes we're going to put a 4 out here. But this x being inside these little bars here, that's the absolute value bars. This tells me it's an absolute value function. All right, so just to review, linear, y equals a number times x plus or minus another number. Quadratic, y equals, you're going to see x squared in there. Not x to the third, not anything else, just x squared, right? The variable squared. It could be b squared or r squared, but it's going to be squared. That would be quadratic. Exponential, the x or the b or the z or the n or then whatever variable it is going to be in the exponent position, right? It's going to be a number raised to the power of x. And last but not least, our absolute value are going to have these brackets here. So I'm not going to give you any answers here, but let's just kind of go through to give you an idea. What is that? Remember? What is that? You're going to label it, right? If you know what that is, you're going to label what this is. What is that? What is that, right? You're going to label these. What is that one right there? Use those rules to label all these different flashcards, and then you're done. All right? That's what we're doing today. Good luck. Remember, you're going to be able to, by the end of this, you'll be able to look at any of these function rules, and you'll be able to know just by looking at it what function family it belongs to. I can determine the function family of a function rule.